suppose the inspiration came about after my last project, or during the last project, which was called The Big Chill. It was a festival and some may say lifestyle event that also had a couple of venues in London, but The Big Chill essentially was sort of reinvented the idea of the festival to make it a bit more user-friendly, and we paid a bit of attention towards the overall experience for the customer. So very quickly that became blurred in that the line between service provider and customer was less important than the building of a community. So when I opted out of The Big Chill 10 years ago, I look back on 15 years of great weekend events. You know, it was a music and multimedia event. We gave first gigs to Amy Winehouse at festivals, to Lily Allen, to Goldfrapp, to the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain. Built a lot of their reputation through The Big Chill. You know, but more important than that, it was about the sense of community that existed, particularly on our web forum, and that was a very simple web forum. That did very little else other than what forums do, but through that there was an incredible sense of altruism in its widest sense, people looking out for each other, offering advice to each other, offering mutual support, and people felt they could open up and talk about their issues in relationships, in work experience, etc., and get support. And I saw various instances of people being empowered, and that was very rewarding. And I thought, moving on a couple of steps from that, if we could offer a social network that enabled people to start chatting to each other, which had a forum but also had a lot besides, so we could offer them projects, what we call projects, where you can set up a platform for your own ideas or shared ideas that you can work on with other people. Guilds, which are common interest groups, so we have 15 guilds plus a CAMPFIRE guild, which everyone joins, but the other guilds revolve around the arts, around leisure and entertainment, around what we call tools for life, so people can get information on politics and building resources. They can get information on health and spirituality, well-being. They can get information on business advice, how to go self-employed. So it's a wide...
It's wide-ranging.
It's a wide remit, yeah. It's not just about social change or political change, but at the centre of it is that premise that people do want to sort of change their lives and change the world around them for the better. The campfire is symbolic. It's about people coming together on the level. It's a great leveller, the campfire. It's a place where ideas and stories and traditions can all come together in a circular environment as well. So it's not about hierarchies. It sort of hints at new ways of doing things which are much more grounded in a more egalitarian approach. And that's how we hope to build our community. So it's, I mean, my username is Firestarter on the Campfire Convention. I see my role as getting things going, perhaps sparking a few things and seeing where they go. It's a social experiment in lots of ways, and I have no idea how it will turn out, but it's exciting to be on that journey and to have invested a fair amount of time in the construction and concept for the website, as well as going on the road and doing these pop-up events. And Hannah and Tony's here is a great example. They happened to see the van, they saw the web address. It was a pub just up the road, in fact, where I'd pulled in. I'd read online that it was a good place for an overnight stop. And I went inside to get my pint, and by the time I came out...
You'd made friends?
I'd made friends. Tony came over and said, "Tell us about this campfire." So I started to explain it. And he said, "Actually, you don't need to, because Hannah's already been online. She's read about the campfire conversations that are going around the country, and she's already emailed you to ask if we can host one." So here we are today hosting one as an upshot of that serendipitous meeting.
And how many of these pop-ups have you done so far?
This year we've done, I've lost track, about 10 or 12. We did 5 last year as pilot events, which were part of bigger festivals. This year we've made an attempt to do them as standalone events. So we started in March in Lewes, in the room above a pub where Thomas Paine and the Rights of Man first took shape. So there was quite a history attached to that room, you know, the whole American Constitution. Yeah, he's a busy man, but we're in touch, and I popped in to see him when I was in London in February, and he's agreed, well, he's suggested an idea for new social invention, really, for new initiatives that we can do through our Campfire projects. So we're fermenting that idea, and we hope to launch it when the site properly launches, because we're still pre-launch at the moment. So the plan is September the 1st to do an actual site launch, and then we can bring in the what we're calling the Pioneers Initiative, where he's actively looking for sponsorship and support for the best new social innovation, and that will be something we'll be running through Campfire. It's about hope. It's about seeing the best in people and pulling together and building common resources. So there is an alternative. We're not just doing our social networking through American corporations that throw advertising back and take your big data. This is an independent operation that will in time look at ways of rewarding input. So we'll be actually giving back to those who are putting the time in, and we're building what we're calling the kudos scheme to do that. So if you invest time in Campfire, there'll be rewards beyond the social connections you'll make on it. It's early days, so I'd just appeal to people to come and have a look. Come on the website, campfireconvention.uk is the pre-release address. We'll be going onto the .com when we launch, but it's perhaps a new way of social networking that pays attention to people's individual concerns, and it's trying to foster a sort of sense of folk journalism at the same time, as well as collaborating and offering a platform for people to portfolio their work.
And reintroducing conversation.
And reintroducing the sort of real life element of actually meeting and having conversation, and it's amazing what can be achieved through conversation.